Suppose you've been kicked out of your apartment because you can't pay the rent. You'll want to own the redesigned, 5th generation 2019 Subaru Forester crossover. Its roof is engineered to hold 700 pounds when parked. Knowing that you can pitch a tent on top of your car means you'll never be homeless. Such engineering isn't unusual for Subaru. It's why all Subarus had all-wheel drive long before it was common. Knowing that you can overcome the worst effects of the polar vortex with ease gives you the sense that Subaru cares. Better yet, should you ever awaken to a massive blizzard, you could arrive to work before your boss, and how impressive is that? You can even amaze your in-laws despite your job's lousy pay. They'll be impressed that you're mature enough to buy a Forester with such premium options as heated rear seats, power liftgate, heated steering wheel, rear seat air conditioning vents, rear USB ports, Wi-Fi hotspot, an all-weather package with heated front seats, heated exterior mirrors and windshield de-isser, dual automatic climate control, automatic high beams, steering responsive headlights, remote vehicle start, and Subaru's new driver fatigue system. Like the system introduced by Mercedes-Benz, the vehicle alerts you if it feels you're getting too tired. It's like driving with your mother the car, except your mother probably doesn't drink motor oil. Unfortunately for you, there's enough room for your in-laws to ride along as they berate your pitiful career. Thanks to a 1.1-inch longer wheelbase, there's an additional 1.4 inches of rear seat legroom and a 5-inch wider rear door opening. It's easier for them to come along for the ride. Seats are well bolstered and firm, with good head and legroom. The driver enjoys a fairly unobstructed view in all directions. Cargo space is a generous 33 cubic feet, and the 51.2-inch tailgate opening is wide enough to fit a 1969 Subaru 360. Of course, you might want to get to your destination quicker, so you don't have to deal with them. Unfortunately, last year's manual transmission and 250 horsepower turbocharged engine is no longer offered. Instead, Foresters get a new version of the 2.5-liter horizontally opposed 4-cylinder engine with direct injection and automatic stop-start. Generating 182 horsepower through a continuously variable transmission, it can tow up to 1,500 pounds. This means you'll be headed nowhere fast, but there will be forward momentum. Thankfully, the driver-selectable Subaru Intelligent Drive, or SI Drive, changes the car's throttle response from efficient intelligent mode to a more aggressive sport mode. Forester Sport models have a more aggressive Sport Sharp mode, along with more aggressive gearing and a transmission that imitates a 7-speed manual transmission through steering wheel-mounted paddle shifters. Once you've dropped off your in-laws at bingo, you'll find the cabin is impressively quiet, and not just because they're gone. However, there will be noise when you floor the throttle, which will be often. Power is acceptable thanks to the attentive CVT that makes the most of what's available. As is typical of CVTs, there's some mild rubber banding in the driveline, but it's not objectionable. Notably, shifting to L makes the engine more responsive, but it runs 1,500 to 2,000 RPMs higher, which hurts fuel economy. Also, there's a lot of initial throttle travel where noticeably more spry, especially when the CVT is in 7-speed manual mode. Clearly, the Forester is in no hurry. But neither are most Subaru owners, who treasure their well-being. This is why automatic pre-collision braking, adaptive cruise control, lane departure and sway warning, lane keep assist, pre-collision throttle management and led vehicle start alert are standard. Reverse automatic braking, blind spot detection, lane change assist, and rear cross traffic alert are optional. The Forester can be engaging and agile to drive, although the ride is jittery over broken pavement. Body lean is not excessive, making it more adept once the sidewalk ends. But its firm on-road ride becomes punishing off-road, with a surprising lack of bump absorption. being tech-savvy, you'll scoff at Subaru's pocket-sized standard 6.5-inch multimedia high-resolution touchscreen, but will appreciate the presence of IHA, Pandora, TomTom navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Bluetooth, dual USB ports and a CD player, which should soothe your in-laws as they play their favorite ABBA CD. Nevertheless, the standard audio system provides astonishingly poor sound. This makes the optional Harman Kardon system and its larger 8-inch screen a must.
Operating in a higher price spectrum and with Subaru's typically tight grip on the incentive account, there's no telling what the new Ascent is doing for Subaru's bottom line. But as Subaru conservatively predicted, the Ascent isn't generating much in the way of greater sales activity inside Subaru showrooms. Instead, the Ascent is growing Subaru's volume by the leanest of margins, in part because it's by no means a segment leader in sales. Partly because nearly all of Subaru's other models are suffering significant sales slowdowns. Fortunately for Subaru, the Ascent is now selling at the approximate pace Subaru had forecasted. But it appears to be doing so at the expense of other Subarus. For at least two reasons, this isn't a poor outcome. First, Subaru expected it and evidently planned for such a development. Second, Subaru needed a vehicle that kept loyal Subaru owners from leaving the brand when the Outback and Forester were deemed to be undersized. The Ascent has plugged that hole. It has not, however, slowed the momentum of top-tier rivals. Prime competitors such as the Toyota Highlander and Honda Pilot are both growing at rapid rates in 2018. In a challenging market made more competitive by the addition of the Ascent and Volkswagen Atlas, sales of the duo are up 24% through the first 9 months of 2018. As if to clarify the extent to which the Ascent is making no dent in their demand, both of these top-selling, Japanese, American-made, three-row utility vehicles are on track for record annual sales in the United States. Instead of stealing large quantities of sales from rivals' large crossovers, the Ascent is making hay off of existing Subaru demand. After going on sale in June, the first full 3 months of availability produced 14,683 Ascent sales in America and 16,580 in total to date. Q3 sales of the Outback, meanwhile, fell 13%, while Forester sales were down 3% during the same period. Those two crossovers combined for an 8,650-unit decline in the third quarter, negating much of the Ascent's additional volume. Although it appears as though the Ascent is distracting Subaru's existing shoppers, it remains a small player, not just in terms of its place in its segment but also its position in the Subaru lineup. For example, in September, the Forester, Outback, and Crosstrek were all easily twice as popular. The Ascent produced 10% of Subaru's September volume in the new SUV's best month yet, less than the Impreza but more than the Legacy's 6% slice of the pie. Likewise, the Ascent doesn't generate nearly the volume of high-volume competitors. In September, Ford's Explorer outsold the Ascent by more than 3-1, the Honda Pilot outsold the Ascent by nearly 10,000 units, and the Toyota Highlander generated nearly quadruple the Ascent's volume. Even the struggling and outdated Nissan Pathfinder, down 19% so far this year, outsold the Ascent, as did the Dodge Durango, Kia Sorento, and Chevrolet Traverse. The Ascent has nevertheless reached the rate of sales Subaru anticipated, and it did so quickly. Subaru was seeking 60,000 annual U.S. sales. Subaru sold 4,589 Ascents in July, 4,235 in August, and 5,859 in September. Non-Ascent volume at Subaru of America was down 5% in Q3. But one gets the impression, whether it's based on 82 consecutive months of year-over-year growth or a market share improvement from 1.2% in 2007 to 3.8% in 2017, that the ascent hasn't plateaued yet. Though it may not be true now, Subaru's recent history suggests it won't be long before the ascent is stealing plenty of sales from its high-volume competition.